Hello and welcome again to the Writer Review. This is Eric Carrot Writer, and this week we're going to be taking a look back at the 1998 action thriller movie titled The Replacement Killers. Now, The Replacement Killers runs for 1 hour and 27 minutes long. It is directed by Antoine Fuqua. It is produced by Bernie Brillstein and Brad Gray. The script was written by Ken Sanzel. It was composed by Harry Gregson Williams. The cinematography by Peter Lyons Collister. And it was edited by Jay Cassidy. And the stars of the movie are Chow-Yun Fat, Mira Sorvino, Michael Rooker, Kenneth Tsang, Jurgen Prochnow, Till Schweiger, Danny Trejo, Clifton Collins Jr., Carlos Gomez. No, I'm not talking about the baseball outfielder who's also ironically named Carlos Gomez, not him. Just another guy who's got the same name. All right, also joining out the cast, we have Frank Medrano, Carlos Leon, Leo Lee, Patrick Kilpatrick, Randall Duck Kim, Andrew J. Marton, and Sidney Coberly. The realization that there is something innately cockeyed about the replacement killers sets in with the awareness that the movie isn't about what the title indicates. The lead characters portrayed by Asian action hero Chow-Yun Fat and American actress Mira Sorvino are actually the target of the titular assassins. They, of course, are infamously known simply as the Triad, which is kind of almost like a mafia based Chinese organization, which almost has similar type of mafia-esque integrities building within that organization. You know, people think that the mafia, there's more to the mafias than just, the Italian mafia, the Irish mafia, or the Russian mafia. In this movie, we're focusing a little more on the Asian mafia. Hey, they come in all different groups. It's all in the sake of diversity, folks. A westernization of the Hong Kong movies of Chow here, making his American film debut, and executive producers John Woo and Terence Chang. This mechanical effort is studied rather than heartfelt and will disappoint aficionados and thwart potential fans. What I'm getting at is that instead of just focusing mostly on the backstory, we are pretty much just dumbed down to just mindless action. But if you're, of course, a fan of action movies and don't really give a flying fuck about character development or background, and this movie does get straight to the point and doesn't like step back. It goes into the action and never looks back, then maybe this movie might be the type for you. The result was tepid box office returns. In 1998, from the moment it was released, it was a disappointment in the Far East where it opened with limited play. So this movie did not really do quite well at the box office back in 1998. But maybe it may have became maybe into the level of cult classic. And there is a meaning to the word cult classic, meaning that even though it didn't do shit all in the box offices back when it was released, maybe it found a new fan following years later. That's kind of like how you would define cult classic. You know, a lot of movies have fell into that kind of level of trajectory, so to speak. Follow-up ancillaries should be okay, but it remains a niche genre item. Chow is on familiar ground as John Lee, a hired gun with a debt to pay to Manhattan transplanted Asian crime czar named Terrence Wade, played by Kenneth Tsang. His final mission is to murder the 7-year-old boy of a cop, played by Michael Rooker, responsible for the death of Wade's son during a botched drug transaction. However, in a sequence that seems like a variation on the opening scene of the 1997 John Woo directed movie Face Off, when he has the boy in his sights, a crisis of conscience prevents him from pulling the trigger. Lee knows his decision will make him a target of whoever is brought in to finish the job. He also realizes that his mother and young sister back in Shanghai are also living on borrowed time. So if he fucks up, chances are they're both going to get it too. These guys don't mess around like you would expect from a lot of crime lords. If they get you, chances are you're not going to go down alone. Even some of the innocent members of your own family will also inevitably bite the bullet. Sucks to be you. On the way to the airport for his return to China, he contacts master forger Meg Coburn, played by Mira Sorvino, to get a phony passport. But before the rush job is ready, Wade's trigger men descend and Lee and Coburn begin their long flight, pursued through New York discos, restaurants, and a car wash. This was actually the directorial debut of Antoine Fuqua, a hot music video and commercials director, and scriptwriter Ken Sanzel have obviously studied every slow motion sequence and violently choreographed ballet of blood Hong Kong has served up in recent years. I mean, when it comes to like action, kick ass type movies, Hong Kong is the place to be. I mean, you from the legends like Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan to a lot of others like Jet Li, and of course, the star in this movie, Chow-Yun Fat, and co-star Kenneth Tsang. These guys are basically practically sealed in the legends of great action years. Well, let's not forget about John Lone and Thailandese-born action star Tony Jaa. These guys are definitely had really cemented their positions in the annals of Hong Kong based action movies. And their smooth transition to the American cinema goers have really paid off because people are going to want to see action movies based on this. And it seems like Antoine Fuqua, in his directing debut, really did pull it off very, very well. He seems to have studied, a lot of the goings on in Hong Kong cinema, with especially in the action genre. So while an apt homage, the set pieces here are technical but not visceral, feeling the menu fractured rather than originally integrated into the plot. But then again, what do you expect? It's an action movie, so you're expected to have a narrow plot. The performances too have a rote quality. Chow shot much in the way that catapulted him to stardom in the John Woo films like The Killers and A Better Tomorrow. He's an elegant, soulful presence with a heart beating behind those cold eyes, a man who conveys the instincts and 9 lives of a cat, but he still needs significant quality time and a voice coach to have a prayer of a career beyond the former Crown colony. But then again, also it's pretty not fair to just point fingers at him. Although Jackie Chan, I got to admit, even his English is quite limited. But hey, what do you expect? He's born in Hong Kong as well, so. But over the years, with the help of the Rush Hour movies and all the other action movies, you know, his English actually did start to get better. And then you get guys like John Lone, who actually speaks English quite fluently without even an accent or a slight accent, but very, very authoritative, great enunciation in his voice. He seem to just so organically speak such beautiful English. He can almost like He can almost like read a phone book and will still melt the hearts of the ladies. I mean, you can never get bored of his voice, even if he's just reading names through a phone book. Some people just have that organic talent. Now, mind you, like I said before, this is just paying homage to the Hong Kong action films. Even you have to admit that even in those kind of movies, there's not really called much for dialogue. And even though through his limited English, Chow-Yun Fat, gives it an effort. But he still needs a lot more if he wants to continue the realm of entertaining fans on North American soil, particularly Hollywood. Mira Sorvino is once again in much better form, though for most of the picture's running time, she fires off rounds of ammunition without coming close to doing any physical injury. She has the requisite humor, but lacks the flinty quality necessary for the role. So even though she wants to try to come off as a badass, she still kind of comes a bit awkward in some places here and there. But then again, maybe this action movies are not particularly her cup of tea. I always find her more better off in buddy comedies. I don't really hear much from her in these days. I guess she kind of is just playing it low, like a lot of 90s stars. And it's a disappointment to see German star Till Schweiger's talents squandered in the thankless role of one of the title characters. Fuqua directs The Replacement Killers with the glee of a big, loud music video that's not particularly interested in content. It's a rudderless style piece, as the old saw cautions, except no substitutes. So I guess in the end, you kind of just have to just take the movie for what it is, and if you don't like it, well, too bad. Because if you're expecting subtlety and nuance, you're not going to find it here. It's an action movie, straightforward. Here and there, no ifs, ands, or buts. It's not going to change your life. It's not going to make you look at the world in a different place. It's basically just, a guy fighting for survival, a guy fighting for honor, and a guy fighting to save his life and his family. And you also have Mira Sorvino to support him. But for a directing debut for Antoine Fuqua, I guess we'll give him the credit where credit is due. It's his first time, and I gotta say, it was a good effort. Was it great? Could have been, but then it felt more like an extended music video without which means that this movie lacks subtlety and it lacks nuance. But it still has some great entertaining moments for the action fans. And I even watched the movie and I enjoyed it very much immensely. So if I was to give this movie a scale out of 10, I would give The Replacement Killers a 7. So I guess this ends my ride review. Thank you all for listening in. If you wish to subscribe to my YouTube channel, please feel free to do so. If you wish to leave a comment, go right ahead. But just remember the 3 simple rules. Be kind, be courteous, and please refrain from any rude comments. And I will be back again with another movie review. So until next time, this is Sarah Kurt Ryder saying, keep watching those movies, and I'll see you around. Oh, by the way, I'm still going to be stuck in 1998 again because next week's movie is going to be called Primary Colors, which is a political satire starring John Travolta and Emma Thompson. This one should be good. But until next time, I'll see you around. Okay? Eric Carrot Rider signing off. Goodbye.